Life is a journey, and occasionally we come across people who hinder our progress. The harsh reality is that if someone in your life disturbs your inner tranquility, even if you have a great deal of affection for someone, there are instances when it's preferable to break off contact. This is seldom an easy choice that we frequently feel compelled to uphold. Relationships, particularly those involving family members, but some warning signs can show that a connection has to be changed since it is becoming poisonous. In this video, we'll examine 13 indicators that it's time to think about severing relationships with someone who wants to live a more virtuous and tranquil existence. Through Stoicism urges us to focus on the aspects of our thoughts, perceptions, and behaviors, while distancing ourselves from the external environment and the conduct of others. By applying Stoic concepts, we might gain strength and insight. Necessary to navigate challenging relationships, however, before we start this adventure, click the subscribe button to become a part of our community of others who share your interests. Let's dive into those in search of knowledge and better lives. The first indicator is that they consistently sap your vitality and leave you feeling completely worn out. 1. Your energy is consistently depleted by them. After concluding a discussion with someone else following interaction with, for most individuals, you could feel a little exhausted, but for some, it could be really severe if these are the folks to turn to if you're ever feeling emotionally and psychologically exhausted. A key figure in Stoic philosophy, Avoid Epicus, emphasizes the importance of defending our inner fire, or spirit. Consider this to be a spark, like healthy connections help maintain a flame blazing bright, just like a gentle wind tends to a flame, while destructive ones are similar to strong winds that could extinguish the fire entirely. How does this anger, frustration, and worry are just a few of the negative effects of this concept in real life? Sentiments that toxic interactions might elicit, and feeling these emotions saps. When we confront negativity with our mental and emotional energies, it can be draining, similar to battling a constant breeze of mental exhaustion. People can fill your life with a great deal of drama, negativity, and chaos. To handle these issues, mental toughness is required. Picture yourself staying on one's toes all the time while figuring out complicated challenges or planning. The Stoics' virtue can be undermined by this mental tension if you're not careful. Promoted a life of virtue, which they characterized as being brave, honest, and toxic interactions can impede the reasonable upkeep of these values. Demonstrate how a person's constant criticism might cause you to veer from your Stoic. When rationality weighs the impulse to respond angrily, there is a cost that this internal struggle may require an awareness of the toxic drain. People's efforts enable us to make informed decisions by abstaining from allowing toxic people to deplete your emotional supplies is like to keeping a window open during a snowstorm. Ineffective. If we break off ties with these harmful forces, we'll have more endurance for the important things, such as spending time with motivating individuals. Being good. Number 2, and doing what makes us happy. They ignore your 2. They don't respect your limits. In our relationships, we establish invisible borders that specify what is and is not appropriate behavior that is necessary to establish courteous, healthy relationships. When someone consistently disregards your boundaries, it's a severe warning flag. The Roman emperor was a Stoic thinker. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes the need of acting with integrity and morality. Involves establishing and upholding limits. A concept known as the Stoics maintained a dichotomy of control, which means making the differentiation between the external factors that we cannot control and the things that we can impact with our own thoughts, actions, and reactions. The way that the surroundings and the behavior of others connect to boundaries is as follows: respecting your choices, and the key to defining boundaries is wants, which could include anything from defining limits on communication to working to specify specific privacy needs. Someone who disregards your limitations is essentially expressing that your desires and inclinations are, unimportantly, establishing boundaries protects our mental and emotional well. Health views your boundaries as a wall that protects your inner peace. That wall is being eroded, and tension is being created by someone who constantly goes outside the bounds. With anxiety, the Stoics believed that the power of lacking bravery was a vital virtue. Setting and upholding boundaries requires courage, which is often necessary for moral behavior, particularly when working with someone who may find it difficult to accept rejection. Yet leading an honorable existence necessitates having the courage to stand up for oneself. But we may also learn how to set limits. Successfully, we can articulate our demands in a clear and concise manner by following Stoic principles, and gently but firmly correct someone when they cross a line that is not appropriate. It is about accepting responsibility for our own health, not about being arrogant or egotistical. When cultivating constructive civil relationships, keep in mind that you should be in number 3. Partnerships where others will value and respect your boundaries are 3. They abuse people emotionally. A silent weapon, emotional abuse can weaken your sense of self-worth and reality, from subtly critical remarks to overt threats, and, among the many ways it could manifest, manipulation is a serious warning sign. If a person in your life frequently disparages you and manipulates you out of fear or guilt, or tries to deceive you into adopting a different perspective, famous Stoic philosopher Seneca warned against the dangers of negative emotions because he believed that these emotions, such as anger, fear, and depression, may cloud our judgment and making it difficult to think effectively. These uncomfortable emotions are commonly used as tools for "Here's how Stoicism can be used to manipulate and control when emotional abuse is occurring," could help you protect your mental health while negotiating an emotionally abusive relationship. Anxiety and emotional abuse can have a serious negative impact on your mental health. The constant barrage of negative news could lead to despair and a sense of powerlessness. Thus, the Stoics emphasized the need of protecting mental health because they believed that living a moral life required taking care of your mental health. Top priority, and create space for inner peace after leaving an abusive relationship. Reason-preserving Seneca believed that acting rationally and real freedom is frequently defined as being emotionless. When emotional abusers take advantage of your emotions, you can maintain your sanity and evaluate the relationship with clarity if you are able to spot the dishonest tactics. And apart from the emotional turbulence, the requirement for resilience in the Stoicism, in the face of adversity of any kind, teaches us to be resilient. Resilience is necessary to escape abuse, and you can develop the inner strength to disengage from negativity and use Stoicism to deal with this challenging situation. Concepts remember that Stoicism is opposed to repressing emotions. This has to do with understanding that you have feelings, but not allowing them to control your actions. Understanding the toxic nature of an emotionally abusive relationship is necessary in order to taking self-defense measures and adhering to Stoic principles can help you recognize the telltale signs of emotional abuse and take charge of your relationships that provide inner peace and emotional growth. Are what you are due and leave a relationship that is causing you pain. Without, the fourth concern is that they are physically abusing your most fundamental right to safety. 4. They abuse people physically. Is obviously breached when physical force is employed, and you should seek therapy and end the relationship immediately if someone you know has ever physically assaulted or shoved you, mistreated you in a fundamental way. Stoicism emphasizes self-improvement and virtue-filled living. Preservation. No Stoic writing condones violence in any manner. Our greatest, your safety and well-being, are the top considerations in this situation, and the philosophy tells us to have the strength to act in line with this, which is why a conversation is not required without. There is no rational justification for why your physical safety should come first. The Stoics advocated living a life of reason and tolerance for violence, arguing that your relationships should provide you a sense of security and the worth of. One of the core virtues of the virtue-based lifestyle that Stoicism emphasizes is self-respect. Any form of abuse is a violation of your own worth. You treat yourself with dignity, and it takes courage to leave a situation and seek treatment, so put your health first. The Stoics believed that one should overcome an abusive relationship. Having resilience and fortitude does not mean confronting things head-on. Alone, speak with trustworthy friends, family, or a domestic violence expert. Professional organization. You're not alone. You have resources at your disposal to help you navigate this. Choosing to defend yourself is always the best course of action. Terminating a relationship that is causing you physical pain right away is not a good idea. Disgrace number 5. They are unreliable and dishonest in any connection. 5. They are unreliable and dishonest is based on trust. It's the invisible thread that connects us and fosters emotional intimacy and security. But what happens when deceit compromises? If someone you love betrays your trust, the foundation of your relationship is gone. Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher who constantly breaks promises, Marcus Aurelius, wrote extensively on the importance of living a virtuous life, emphasized the importance of honesty, integrity, and word-keeping, and being in the company of people who share our values fosters a joyful and supportive Stoicism, can assist you in navigating the environment of an untrustworthy relationship as adheres to the Stoic ideal of integrity, which states that living integrity meant that your actions aligned with your underlying Stoic ideals. When someone you trust is dishonest, it creates a contradiction. The concept is honesty. The discrepancy between their actions and words can be fairly. Repeatedly lying undermines your emotional well-being by fostering mistrust, dread, and your emotional and mental well-being may suffer significantly if you feel betrayed. The Stoics emphasize the importance of emotional well-being and one way to promote mental wellness. Establishing trust boundaries and ending an untrustworthy relationship should come first. The Stoics believed that boundaries are essential in trust, just like in any other relationship. Should direct behavior, communicate your expectations, and protect you from greater emotional suffering when you set explicit boundaries for appropriate conduct, including integrity and the pursuit of true friendships. Stoicism emphasizes the need of surrounding oneself with positive individuals. Two of these are honesty and dependability. Characteristics of good friends are the same. You create space for genuine relationships. Be founded on honesty, and remember that you should be in partnerships where there is mutual trust and trust when you end your relationship with dishonest people. Leaning on Stoic ideas can benefit you. Honesty is expected, and nothing less will do. To get through these challenging times and build a network of trustworthy people that support your sixth in the quest for a decent life, they are consistently the sixth. The victim is always them. Victim. Do you know somebody who seems to constantly adopt the victim persona but never actually adopts it? They constantly blame others for their problems and refuse to take accountability for their actions. Faced with catastrophe in a way that is both totally and emotionally manipulative, it might be really difficult to accept responsibility for destroying this relationship. One of the main tenets of Stoicism in his work Epicus was one's own life. According to Stoic philosophers, many of the things we take for granted are regrettable things, like losing a job due to illness or unanticipated circumstances are in reality is outside of our control. But what we can influence is how we handle the circumstances we encounter to assist you in negotiating. The following are some ways that Stoics can benefit from a relationship with someone who always plays the victim. Believed that a control dichotomy existed, which they called the dichotomy of when we exercise control, we can distinguish between the things that we possess authority over things like our own thoughts, deeds, and responses. Those are beyond our control, including the outside world and the actions of when someone plays often. They often focus on other people as the victim. Things that are out of their control, which might cause them to feel depressed and helplessness. You can shift your attention to the things you can control, including your own response to their situation. If you maintain your composure in the face of under difficult conditions, we can act in a way that best meets our needs. As a victim-playing person, Stoics believed that we ultimately control our own reactions. Let their circumstances to dictate their actions and emotions, in rather to letting other people's negativity drag you down. If you adopt, you can decide to react rationally and empathetically. Training for Stoicism and resilience because life is full of challenges. The idea of resilience, or the ability to bounce back fast after adversity, that was essential to the Stoic worldview, and spending time with them can be harmful to your own fortitude. Someone who always plays the victim after you take them out of, by being dynamic, you free up time to focus on developing your own inner fortitude and the ability to overcome life's obstacles presents. Safeguarding your health necessitates that you create healthy. Setting and maintaining limits is essential while portraying the victim. It might be emotionally draining for someone you can protect. Emotional energy by setting limits, including limiting how much time you spend with that, avoiding negative feedback loops, or declining to engage with someone despite the. Although you have no influence over what other people do, you do have power over how you respond to circumstances. Develop resilience by learning to separate yourself from pessimistic thinking and focus on building your own resilience and health. If you follow Stoic ideas. Number 7. Do you know anyone who seems to be drawn to drama? 7. They attract drama to create turmoil in their lives, much like a lightning rod creates a storm, are constantly surrounded by some fresh crisis, and are a cyclone of negativity and upheaval. If you feel pressured to intervene and resolve issues, this could result in more. When you're feeling stressed and frustrated, Stoicism might be helpful suggestions for getting past these drama magnets and developing inner calm. Renowned for emphasizing morality and reason, the Stoics fostered a quiet life free from unnecessary disruptions, which led to Saint philosopher Seneca wrote extensively about the need of avoiding negativity and gossip, which he believed that these disruptive elements skew our judgment and take us away from living moral lives. A guide to handling drama magnets, re-examining the control dilemma in Stoicism. This is where the core. This thought serves as a reminder of the Stoic concept of the paradox of control, to distinguish between those that we can manage with our own thoughts, actions, and reactions, as well as those over which we have no control, such as the external environment and behavior of others. Despite the fact that drama magnets usually thrive on external disturbances, you can decide not to participate in order to protect your mental health. Never-ending energy drama is emotionally draining, and negativity can adverse impact on your mental health, similar to how being around someone who has a communicable illness can make you. According to the Stoics, living a virtuous life necessitates the protection of you conserve your brain energy for things that are truly important when you avoid drama seekers and practice compassionate boundary setting. Boundaries are essential to healthy relationships. Establishing limits with drama magnets may mean avoiding being concerned in their problems, refraining from gossiping or limiting communication with the nonetheless. Stoics also emphasized compassion and sensitivity in establishing boundaries, and compassion enables you to recognize that the other individual can be coping with personal issues, achieving inner tranquility in daily life. Virtue results in a state of calm, which is the ultimate goal of the cultivation of inner tranquility, might be disturbed by drama-loving magnets. Allow yourself space for self-reflection, mindfulness, and living a life that aligns with your values. When you keep your distance from the chaos and remember that you have no business resolving you might learn to distance yourself from negativity by focusing on the problems of others. Prioritize your mental health and follow Stoic principles to find your own path to inner peace. Thoughts as you focus on creating your own calm and concentrated life. Let wherever number 8, the drama magnets attract their storms, and they are jealous. 8. They are competitive and jealous, and competitive. Healthy partnerships provide us with joy and assistance. Honor one another's successes and support one another through challenging times, but some people are envy and competition plague partnerships, making them a never-ending battle for confirmation. If a person you know frequently belittles or criticizes your achievements, you might feel isolated and demoralized, but Stoicism offers helpful suggestions for creating true happiness and encouraging positive epicus. A key figure in Stoic philosophy, highlighted relationships. Believes that genuine happiness originates internally rather than through external validation or comparisons to other external factors such as prestige, income, and even other. The accomplishments of others are ultimately out of our control. Instead, the Stoics advise concentrating on the things we can influence, like our own thoughts, deeds, and responses. How Stoicism can help you navigate relationships full of despite rivalry and jealousy. Stoicism holds that genuine joy comes from leading a moral life, and behaving in line with one's values means cultivating traits like honesty, boldness, and fairness. When someone is consistently trying to belittle your accomplishments, it's easy to grow interested in their unfavorable. However, focusing on your own virtuous acts and personal development is a more long-lasting source of happiness. Envy frequently comes from a warped perspective. Someone who is envious may focus exclusively on your success, discounting their own accomplishments or failing to recognize your work. The Stoics stress the significance of perspective. You can break free from the negativity of envy by embracing your own talents and appreciating the journey to your accomplishment, applauding others' victories. Stoicism opposes apathy. It's vital to really celebrate the accomplishments of others. Recognizing the accomplishments of those around you generates a sense of community and establishes healthy relationships. When you focus on praising other people's accomplishments, envy has a tougher time establishing root within you. Discover your cheerleaders. Surround yourself with people who actually support and celebrate your efforts. These are the cheerleaders that motivate you to improve and celebrate your victories. By producing healthy connections, you build a supportive environment that encourages true happiness and personal development. Remember, you don't need the approval of other people to be pleased with your achievements. Focus on your personal growth, enjoy others' attempts at IPHs, and create a network of encouraging people by adhering to these Stoic principles, which will enable you to live a more, number 9, is a significant and enjoyable life. Yet it's also bad, and 9. They are critical and negative. Critical negativity can swiftly deplete your energy and weaken your mood. Much like a dark cloud could seriously impair your well-being if someone in your life is constantly negative, unhappy, or critical. Yet the Stoics offer a powerful strategy to cultivate optimism and strengthen oneself against hardship. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of he had a positive outlook on life, believing that despite hardship, focusing on life's bright parts bolstered inner strength and gratitude. Here are several ways that Stoicism can help you deal with poisonous connections. The influence of perspective, a distorted view of reality, is a typical source of negativity. Persistent critics may overlook the positive aspects of circumstances in favor of focusing solely on the flawed approach that the Stoics advocated was. Cognitive reframing involves overcoming negative thoughts and viewing situations from a fresh perspective. You can consciously shield yourself from negativity by taking a more positive stance and reviewing the Stoic control dichotomy. Remember the basic Stoic concept of separation and the dichotomy of control. You can control your thoughts, actions, and reactions, but not the other way around. Control the external environment and other people's actions. A pessimist would. The Stoics advise against constantly complaining about external circumstances. Focus on the areas you can alter, including your personal beliefs and your practice of handling criticism. The Stoics believed that being grateful is a powerful way to combat negativity. Should take some time each day to reflect on your blessings, regardless of how little this practice ends up being. Your focus from the negative aspects of your life to the positive developments. Being grateful makes you more emotionally resilient and more optimistic. Constructive boundaries that safeguard your individual well-being by creating limits are okay. This could be a tactful way to stop things with negative people. Having two critical conversations or highlighting the positive aspects of your situations. Keep in mind that although you cannot prevent unpleasant behavior from others, you have the choice to restrict how much of it you allow to be remembered. You can increase your resistance and cultivate a positive mood by adopting optimistic Stoic ideals. To negativity and live a more purposeful, hopeful, and gratitude. Don't let other people's negative remarks diminish your intelligence. Choose optimism and see how your number 10 is brightened by the inner light, yet they never 10. They never give, but they take. Healthy partnerships are a beautiful dance of mutual support and cooperation. When you offer and receive goodwill support, there is harmony between the parties. And assist, but some people make it a habit to drain your time and energy and resources without ever returning anything, which results in an unjust dynamic that might leave you feeling worn out and bitter. Reciprocity is essential in connections, as noted by renowned Stoic philosopher Seneca, who believed that the foundation of true friendship is esteem and support for one another by fostering a sense of unity and reciprocal growth. Relationship wellness is supported by partners. Here's how Stoicism can help you handle one-sided partnerships. An examination of the Stoic control dichotomy reminds us to distinguish between the things we can control and our own actions and the conduct of those over whom we have no influence. Others. Someone cannot be taught to be more charitable, but you may choose how to respond to their behavior. Establishing healthy setting boundaries is essential to preserving your health. Setting polite time or financial boundaries with a taker could be one way to set limitations. Refusing unreasonable requests or being explicit about what you need to remember that defining boundaries is not about punishing someone, but rather about creating a healthy dynamic in the partnership. The Stoics believed that behavior should be guided by reason since they recognized unequal exchange. You can use this concept to objectively assess the dynamics of your relationship. Supplying resources. You provide resources, help, or emotional support. There is always a reciprocal emotion, or are you always exhausted? Recognizing the imbalance is the first step in making informed decisions. Investing in relationships that are balanced requires attention. Positive connections were something the Stoics treasured and spent time and energy cultivating, much like a garden does. Connections with generous, supportive individuals who also help and promote your way of well-being, these are the connections that foster growth and mutual understanding. Keep in mind that you should be in partnerships where giving and receiving are equal, and Stoic concepts can assist you in creating suitable boundaries, spot unjust dynamics, and provide nurturing connections that bring relationships that prioritize happiness and support for both parties should be abandoned, exhaust you, and make you feel unworthy. But don't be afraid. There are people out there that will value your presence and repay the favor. Number 11. They make you feel awful. 11. They cause you to feel self-conscious. Regarding oneself, a good relationship should encourage its partner, inspiring evaluations of our advantages and areas for development. Nonetheless, some people are naturally skilled at undermining your sense of self-worth, making you feel constantly disparaged and reprimanded. These relationships are very harmful. Learn about the deep knowledge of Stoicism because it offers useful advice for boosting and protecting your self-esteem. Epicurus, the Stoic philosopher, instructs us to keep our external circumstances and interior judgments apart, which include other people's words and actions. Even though we could not have any control over actions of others, we do have a great deal of influence over our own. Responses. This is how Stoicism can help you manage relationships that diminish your sense of self-worth and restore the Stoic dualism of authority. This essential. This guideline reminds us to put our own thoughts, actions, and responses, and to continuously let go of any attachment to other people's actions. You don't have to put up with manipulative people trying to control you. Individually, our inner discourse and its power. The Stoics held this perspective. Our sense of self-worth is strongly affected by the mental debate we have with ourselves when someone is continually pulling you down. Try talking favorably to yourself. Instead, make a point of showcasing your positive attributes, achievements, and strengths. Recognize the difference between opinion and truth. Not all criticisms are the indifferentiating between positive, helpful criticism and bad comments. The Stoics' capacity to disguise themselves as counsel was a major issue. Discern between harmful personal criticism and constructive criticism. Opinions to boost your self-esteem, but true self-worth doesn't emanate from external sources, but instead live morally and follow your convictions. This was the Stoic philosophy. Take actions that make you happy, focus on your personal growth, and play to your abilities. This internal validation of your own safety serves as a solid foundation for your sense of self-worth. Clearly define boundaries and set limits with someone who is constantly coming up with something bad to say, whether it's by gently pointing out or limiting contact. Their hostility or simply leaving. Keep in mind that protecting your sense of self-worth is crucial. Value yourself because you are worthy of affection and respect, because they uphold the Stoic principles of can cultivate positive self-talk and learn to distance themselves from negativity, and create a strong internal basis for self-worth that is unblemished by those who would attempt to stifle your innate brilliance. Give priority to relationships that recognize and strengthen your individuality. Number 12. They are a terrible 12. They have a negative impact. The people a person chooses to surround themselves with have a significant impact on their lives. To interact with, we can't resist allowing them to influence our underlying habits, behaviors, and even suspects that something is gravely off if someone you know is constantly attempting to persuade you to take actions that will harm you or put you in risk. You run the risk of compromising your values when you allow these negative forces to lead you and accomplishing your goals. This is when Stoic wisdom can be useful. You select wise companions and create a solid network of assistance. Seneca, the renowned Stoic thinker, emphasized the importance of having excellent relationships. According to him, the best friendships are created when two people treat one another with respect and kindness and try to enhance one another's quality of life. An environment can be created that promotes moral behavior and individual growth by surrounding oneself with good people. Here are some ways that Stoicism can help you deal with. The Stoics believed in the power of free will and the significance of avoiding poisonous connections. When it comes to personal decision-making, you have the final say, even while other people may attempt to influence you. But if they are negatively influencing you, you have the option to ignore them, and instead focus your efforts on activities that bring you joy. When you consider the Stoic dualism of authority, this guiding principle is a useful reminder to distinguish between our control over our own thought processes and that over the behavior and feelings of others, despite efforts to influence them by. You have the ability to oppose those who have a negative influence on you. Setting clear boundaries and refraining from dangerous behaviors are essential for protecting your health and happiness. Activities that subtly convey your personal choices or simply restricting your interactions. Here are some strategies for establishing boundaries with someone who is a bad influence. Setting boundaries is meant to protect you from criticism rather than to negativity, inspires others to seek out connections with inspirational individuals. These are the folks that will support you no matter what, by listening to your aims and values, encouraging you to make wise choices, and giving you the motivation you require to make moral investments in your own well-being and contentment. Entails creating a network of supportive individuals upholding your values, as the Stoics recommended, making virtue your compass in day-to-day activities, acting with courage, reason, and other. This means acting in an admirable manner. Constantly make sure your choices are in line with your values before displaying warning indications that a friend isn't a suitable fit. Influence includes their attempts to persuade you to act contrary to your morals. In any case, if you want to have a happy life, you should only be in partnerships that make you feel good about yourself. Living a life of virtue and fulfillment while adhering to Stoic principles will teach you how to recognize harmful influences and set up sound boundaries and surround yourself with uplifting individuals. Decides your path, therefore carefully choose them. Number 13, based on your intuition. 13. Your instincts tell you to. Advises you that relationship negotiations might sometimes entail more than just identifying one clear warning sign. It's a more complicated feeling that persists, imbalance of pain, or a recurring suspicion that something is amiss numerous. Although these gut feelings are sometimes dismissed as intuition, they are actually quite significant. Without going into detail on intuition, the Stoics placed a great priority on self-awareness. Knowing that you are respecting your inner self, you may choose the people you choose to surround yourself with. In actuality, here's how Stoic concepts could aid in the interpretation of your intuition and manage challenging relationships with the help of self-awareness. The Stoics advocated cultivating a deep self-awareness. This includes recognizing your desires, ideals, and feelings. When anything about a relationship makes you uncomfortable, take a moment to reflect on how you are feeling. Since emotions exist, compromising your values in light of your internal cues can assist you in obtaining crucial information regarding the source of your discomfort. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of reason and intuition, whereas thinking and feeling collaboratively is not completely disregarded. Consider your instincts as a subliminal reminder, catching up on small hints that you may have missed and applying logic to the circumstance, but don't disregard your instincts. They can work together to guide your decisions and teach you the importance of self-preservation. Stoicism essentially emphasizes living a decent life and behaving in accordance with your convictions. You can be in a relationship that isn't beneficial to you if it makes you feel uneasy, nervous, or transgressed. The Stoics' belief that one should maintain oneself and that one need to put their mental and emotional well-being first. Making decisions that are in line with one's well-being can lead to a more fulfilling life. From choices you make that are consistent with your principles and that you have made by listening to your inner guidance, and never dismiss a gut feeling as mere paranoia. Instead, make sure it's trying to help you find clarity by pointing you in the direction of healthy relationships. Sometimes a quiet moment of introspection might help you make sense of your gut thoughts. Consider whether the relationship aligns with your desired lifestyle. Keep a journal of your encounters, and focus on the emotions it evokes while reflecting for a while. Might assist you in gathering useful data and making judgments that are supported by both logic and intuition. Keep in mind that you are the authority on your own life. Make investments in your intuition. You may learn to decipher your inner guidance and navigate toward connections that enhance your well-being and contribute to a morally upright and satisfying existence by following the Stoic self-awareness, self-reflection, and self-preservation ideals. It might be in conclusion, making the difficult decision to stop communicating with someone, especially when it involves a loved one. Maintaining the relationship causes mental stress. Hence, it's crucial to further weigh the potential benefits against the emotional toll. The following are some tips. It's crucial to consider the numerous alternatives exist for hiring a professional in the course. Throughout your path through this challenging choice, a therapist can provide you with support and guidance to enable you navigate the procedure, which will enable you to go beyond the obstacles you're facing. Throughout this time, create a network of assistance that includes the following elements. During a difficult time, it is crucial to surround oneself with individuals who are upbeat and encouraging during the process. By doing this, you will be able to overcome the difficult time. You should always remember that your mental and the most important aspects of your existence are your mental health, and for the benefit of your own mental and emotional well-being, you should prioritize taking care of yourself. Wellness in the event that you feel pressured to keep up your contact with someone. Whoever is harming you shouldn't actually keep doing so, since you will be able to develop the strength and clarity you need to handle toxic situations and create a life that is more fulfilling and more cheerful if you always follow these guidelines and apply your Stoic knowledge.